Hey guys, Tim Holmes here, ready for our Pick Your Part storytelling for October. Guys, this is something we're doing every month as my patrons at patreon.com make choices. They vote on the different parts that they'd like included in their very own storytelling that they get to build. And then this video, this storytelling, is the result. And if you'd like some more details on that, you can check out timholmes.com. That's TIMMHOLMES.com. Lots of different links to get you guys creating your very own stories and to join my Patreon crew, my creative crew there. And we can build stories together in many different ways. So without further ado, the patrons, my creative crew put together a pretty cool story about a brother and sister who wanted a pet so badly that they decided they were going to create their own. And the title they gave this story, The Perfect Pet. So I present to you October's Pick Your Part storytelling. This is The Perfect Pet. Tom and Sally, they wanted a pet so bad. Every time one of them had a birthday, or it was Christmas, and sometimes even at Easter, they would ask Mom and Dad, please, 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 can we have a pet? And Mom and Dad would go, we'll think about it. And then they wouldn't get a pet. And then the next holiday would come and they'd say, please, 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 can we have a pet? And the next holiday, the gift time would come, and Mom and Dad would be like, sorry, we had other things we wanted to get you. And then another holiday would come, and they would, please, 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 can we get a pet? And Mom and Dad would say, it's not the right time. So Tom and Sally decided to take things into their own hands. Their grandma lived with them, and she had her own special room in the basement. And they knew Grandma had a secret, special recipe book. And it was very strange, and Grandma wouldn't usually let them take a close look at it. And they thought, maybe there's a secret in there that would help us create our very own pet. And so they snuck down one afternoon while Grandma was having her tea, and they found Grandma's secret recipe book. It was a large black book with thick pages inside, and on the front cover was this very strange looking star. But they snuck it all the way upstairs. Oh, it was very heavy. They boom, 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 up to their bedroom. And they flipped through the pages, and they found something that they thought would be the right recipe. And so they started collecting all the supplies. They got stinky cheese. They had to get minty, fresh breath. And they thought, how are we going to do that? And Tom had an idea. He ran to the bathroom and he brushed his teeth using 3 times as much toothpaste as normal. And the foam came all over his face. And he breathed into a Ziploc bag and zipped it right up. Minty fresh breath, he said to Sally. Sally gave him a thumbs up. And then they had to find an uncooked whole ham. So they went downstairs to the freezer. And they opened up the freezer, and they pulled out from the bottom of the freezer a big whole ham that they're sure their mom was supposed to cook at some point, but this seemed more important. And so they brought that into their room. And then they had to get a rat. Oh, said Sally, not a rat's tail. No, we don't want a rat's tail. How about, I have an idea. How about a rabbit's foot? It's even lucky. And maybe it'll bring some luck to our creation. And so Tom and Sally agreed to put the rat, instead of the rat's tail, to put the rabbit's foot keychain that Sally had and put it in the mix. And then, of course, they needed 1 cup of homogenized milk. They had a big old bowl that they had snuck up from their room from the kitchen as well. And they stirred it up with a big wooden spoon. And it was all sloppy and wet and really, really smelled bad of the cheese and the milk. And they're pretty sure the drippy, wet rabbit's foot wasn't lucky anymore. But they read through the book and they said the special words, and their mixture began to bubble. And Tom and Sally's eyes got bigger and bigger and bigger, and they stepped further back and further back and further back. All of a sudden, a big cloud of smoke appeared over their bowl. that they had been mixing in. And they slowly snuck over to the bowl. And Tom looked in, and all of their mixture was gone. And in its place was, "What is that?" said Tom. And Sally looked in and went, "I don't know, but it's super cute. That's our new pet." And sure enough, boing, out of the bowl hopped a prabbit. A prabbit? You might be asking yourself what a prabbit is. Well, a prabbit is an animal that has a body of a rabbit, the cute little curly tail of a pig, and the face of a pig. A pig head, a pig tail, and a rabbit body. That's a prabbit. And they were very excited to have this prabbit, but all of a sudden, taken aback with, how are we going to explain this to Mom and Dad? Oh no. And before they could come up with a solution, the prabbit, boing, 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 hopped right out of the room. And they went, "Oh no, hurry, prabbit, come back, prabbit, come back." And they chased it all the way down the hallway and down the stairs and past Grandma having tea, who didn't see them, and they went down to Grandma's room and it rustled around in Grandma's closet, and they could hear the hanger slapping around and fabric tearing them. "Oh my goodness, what have we done?" thought Tom and Sally. And that's when the prabbit, boing, hopped out of Grandma's closet, dressed in Grandma's Sunday pantsuit. It was a very nice blue. And it hopped out looking actually quite fantastic. And it hopped all the way up the stairs, and it made so much commotion and noise. Grandma had come to the top of the basement stairs. "What's going on in my room? What's going on? Are you two, Tom and Sally? Are you messing around in my room again?" And Tom and Sally went, no. And all of a sudden, you could hear Grandma go, "Ah!" Because she saw the prabbit, boing, 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 hop up the stairs and out the front door. And as Tom and Sally got to the top of the basement stairs, Grandma turned to them and went, "Who is that wearing my pantsuit? And why do they look so fantastic in it? They look way better than I do in it." And Tom and Sally didn't have time to answer. They had to chase down that prabbit. "We'll be right back, Grandma." They ran out the door, and they tried to look around, and they couldn't find the prabbit at all. But what they did find was a missing front yard. All of the grass in their front yard had been turned to, well, earth and mud, and they could see the storm clouds above, and it had started to rain. "Man, we got to find our prabbit fast," said Tom. And so they ran down the street looking left and right, left and right, left and right. And the more they looked left and the more they looked right, the more they realized all of the grass was missing from everyone's yards. And finally they caught up and they saw the prabbit chewing away at the Robinsons' front yard and their prize tulips and their beautiful garden and their big patch of front lawn. And their grass was almost all gone. And Tom and Sally went, "We are going to be in so much trouble." And that's when Miss Robinson came out with a broom, running out her front door. "Get away, you thing, get away, what are you?" And that's when the prabbits got scared away, bouncing away in Grandma's blue Sunday pantsuit. And Tom and Sally gave chase to their prabbit, and they ran all the way through the town. And they got to downtown, where in downtown, it was busy, busy, busy. So many cars in the street, and all the people just focused and going right to work and coming from work and grabbing a lunch and talking on their phones. And it was busy, busy, busy. And no one really took notice of the hopping prabbit going down the street until the prabbit stopped and it put its paws up against its head and it began to vibrate. And all of a sudden, all the cars' stereos turned way up and all started playing the same really catchy dance tunes. And that's when the prabbit got up on its hind legs and began to dance in Grandma's blue pantsuit. And it danced away, and all the other people stopped talking on their phones, stopped rushing to lunch and rushing to work, and they looked and paid attention, and the people that couldn't control their stereos in their cars got out of their cars to wonder what is going on. And they saw the Prabbit in Grandma's blue pantsuit dancing away, and they got big smiles on their faces, and the music filled their hearts with happiness. And they went, you know what? That looks like a lot of fun. And they couldn't help it. Before they knew it, they were dancing too. Everybody was out of their cars dancing. People had turned off their phones and put it in their pockets, and they didn't care about not having lunch. They didn't care about being late for work. They were just grooving and moving, and they were having a fabulous time. And the music got louder, and it got faster, and the Prabbit danced faster and faster and faster until it danced so fast that Grandma's blue pantsuit flew off of it. And everyone realized, that's not a person. What is that thing? And Tom and Sally went, it's our Prabbit. And everyone went, I'm a little freaked out by that Prabbit, but I've had a really good time dancing. I'm not really sure how to react. And the Prabbit put its paws up to its head, and it began to vibrate again. And a wave of positive ideas bounced across the entire city, and everybody sort of caught their breath. The next morning, everyone woke up like it was nothing had happened. Everyone got out of bed. Tom and Sally woke up, and they fed their pet Prabbit a little chicken wing that they'd had left over in the fridge. And they walked outside to tend their garden. The Prabbit had used its powers to make everything kind of weird, but also to make the weird normal for everyone. Everyone's grass had disappeared from their front lawn, but in its place, vegetable and fruit gardens had popped up, and everyone was sharing their fruit and their vegetables. And every night before sundown, including that day, everyone and their pets would have a dance party right at sundown, leaving everybody going home feeling happy and full of life. And the other great thing, nobody rushed to go to lunch or rushed to go back to work, because the top of every business building downtown had been turned into a little beach of their own. And so everybody took their breaks on the very tops of their building, sunning under the sky, swimming in the pool, relaxing on their own personal business beaches. And everyone was a whole lot happier, especially Tom and Sally, who finally had the perfect pet. The end. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was your Pick Your Part story for October. We'll have another one coming up in November. Voting starts soon for the different pieces that will be included in that. Again, check out timholmes.com for all the details about how to become part of my creative crew on patreon.com, or check out the downloads section for free ways for you guys to become creative yourself and create your very own stories, including the Start a Story mobile app. You guys have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and always have fun creating.